Sunday night watch-along time. What's going on, guys? We are back. Fun one tonight. King of the Ring, 1993. One of my favorite WWE pay-per-views of all time. The first ever pay-per-view version of WWE's King of the Ring. Of course, we know who wins this. 3 spectacular Bret Hart matches on this card, including Hogan dropping the belt to Yokozuna, Shawn and Crush, a couple of other randos on this show as well. Pretty fun. And a lot of memories from King of the Ring 1993 and one of my favorite pay-per-views ever. I did review this about 4 years ago. I believe it was in the summer of 2018. Released a review on this show, so if you want to check out my thoughts on King of the Ring 1993 from back then, you can do so. But tonight, we're going to watch it together on the Peacock, as you guys usually know and are here every week for this. I want to say hi to everybody here in the chat just for a couple of seconds, and then we will get over to watching King of the Ring 1993. Go to your Peacock, pull up the King of the Ring tab under the Premium Live Events section of WWE. You're going to want to look for Season 1, Episode 1 of King of the Ring. According to Peacock, runtime on this, 2 hours, 43 minutes, and 17 seconds. So we will all be hitting play here together. Timer above my head will start rolling, and you guys just need to follow along with the timer as we go. That's how we do it every week, and everybody here in the chat, I'm sure, already knows that stuff, but it bears repeating every week. Good to see Maka International in the house, Tatanani, John E. Dennett, Ray Frand is here, Vash Starwind, Jet the Hawk, How Wheezy, We Are Pro Wrestling, Barry MK, Monkey Wrench Party in the house. Good to see little Justin in here as well, Mezzo Songbird, Ben, K-Dog's Kennel is here as well. He is sponsoring the Judgment Day 2000 review coming up on Thursday evening. Link to that is on my channel already if you want to check that out. Good to see Rodrigo in the house and David Brown and George Morris. What's up, dude? Thank you for that $5. Hey, Greg, King of the Ring 93, 10 out of 10. Also on this day, 1993 NBA Finals Game 3, Bulls and Suns. That's right, triple OT. I remember that. I was 13 next Sunday. King of the Ring 1994. We could do 94 next week. So this was I remember that game. See, this is tough because I remember I watched King of the Ring that night, but I also somehow watched the game. How the fuck did I do that? I remember that crazy triple overtime game. I really thought Phoenix was going to win the finals. I thought they had a chance to beat the Bulls, but Bulls just fucking smoked them. Wow, great memories of that Phoenix team. Charles Barkley, Paul Westphal, Dan Marley. My God, back in the day. Good to see you, George. Glad you're here. Well, think about King of the Ring 94. That wasn't as good as a pay-per-view as this one in my mind, although we did get to see Owen Hart win, which is also great. Mike Witt is in the house. We've got Zane as well. Man, monkey wrenches like crazy. You like to see that. Kevin and Andy is here. John Casteller. We've got, Casteller Garcia. We've got Skull Vikings in the house as well. Right on. Good little handful of people here. We'll get going here in just a minute on the King of the Ring. I want to thank everybody for being here yesterday for the podcast. I'm going to still leave tomorrow up in the air as to whether or not we're going to do a Raw review or not. Depends on what they have planned for the show, but you might see me tomorrow night as well. And then, of course, we'll be back this Wednesday for our Dynamite live reaction. Dominion was last night. Jay White beat Kazuchika Okada to become the new IWGP champion. So it looks like it'll be Jay White and Adam Page now at Forbidden Door, which is nice. And caught most of the results of Dominion last night, but I'm no longer a New Japan World subscriber, so I did not see the show. I had to basically just catch the results. But we'll be chit-chatting a lot about that this week, I'm sure, on Wednesday. And next Sunday is Father's Day. That's right. I got to give that some thought. There's a chance I will not be here. Possible Game 7. If it does go to Game 7 in the NBA Finals, that'll be next week. No, actually, I think I will be home. So we'll plan to do a watch-along next week for Father's Day, but if there's Slammiversary and Game 7, maybe not. You know what I mean? So we'll play that one by ear as well. Well, hopefully, during the time of me rambling, you guys have got your Peacock all pulled up and you got a frosty beverage open. I've got my trusty Stella with me, as always. And my little piece of adult candy. We're going to do these two things together, watch wrestling together. Should be a great Sunday night. I'm really happy we're not going head-to-head with the NBA Finals because every time I do a watch-along and there's a basketball game, we crush their ratings. And I really don't want to do that to the NBA. It really, really damages the viewership they get if we're up here watching wrestling together. So I'm glad that we're not going to be here fucking up the NBA's business tonight. That's how nice we are. So we are Pro Wrestling. I'm glad you are here too, in case we have any questions about King of the Ring 93, but I'm pretty savvy about this one. I'm probably going to know all the facts here. Maybe we can have a fact off between me and you. Could always do Great American Bash next week. That's right. We did do a Slamboree last month, and I would like to continue to do some WCW ones. We've done one bash, or have we? We've done Bash at the Beach. We did the formation of the NWO, I believe, last year for the 25th. So yeah, I'll look at some bashes. We could do some of those for sure. Very good suggestions. Right on. All right, well, let's get our act together here. Let me get my screen and all that ready so I can see all of your comments. There we go. Now I can read the chat while we're going. All right, and get all of your zeros all the way across the board down there at the bottom of your King of the Ring 93. If you need to watch any ads or anything like that, go ahead and knock that shit out. And then we're going to do a count of 3, and I'll hit play together. And when we do so, that timer above my head will start to run, and it won't stop. Even if I have issues, it's going to keep running. And I will always just match up with the timer. You guys do the same, and we'll be able to follow along with no problems at all. So hopefully you guys are queued up and ready. I've got my 2 fingers ready. I got my play button and my timer button all ready to rock. So let's do a countdown from 3. You guys ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, play. Almost screwed that up, but I didn't. All right, we are right on the dot. Don't skip the intro, nothing like that. Vince McMahon is welcoming us. Extravaganza. I always liked the King of the Ring's music the very first year, the theme music that it's going to transition to here. Love that. The #1 seed. Bret Hart didn't have to qualify. Hacksaw and Bam Bam. Hacksaw Duggan's on his way out. And Lex Luger is on his way in. Bret and Ramon, Mr. and Mr., Hacksaw and Bam Bam, and Tatanka and Luger are our 4 opening round King of the Ring matches. One of my favorite buildings WWE to run in. Just look at the atmosphere of the Nutter Center, the old yellow staircases. This is peak Jim Ross for me. My favorite Jim Ross years were 1988 through 1993. He had so much energy in his voice. Wow. Oh, the reason we're in Dayton because he wants to defend the title in the heartland of America. Yeah, I'm sure that's the reason. Crush and Sean. Look at Bobby's outfit. My God. Here comes Razor Ramon on his way to becoming a babyface. This is one of his final matches as a heel. K-Dog's Kennel, Bub is doing fantastic. He really, really, really is. There's a chance he's going to be here another year. There really is. I mean, that's what the vet told me, based on how he's doing. Can't believe it. He was supposed to be dead by now. He's supposed to be dead for the last 5 months, and not only is he alive, he's strong and doing well and back to his old self. I don't know. I don't believe in miracles, but something definitely went on there. I had 2 vets tell me to put him down, and he just bounced back. Who is that ref? Is that Kyoto? My God. Fucking mullets, man. This was 2 months before I got my driver's license. I was just about to turn 16. Oh, Bret was the man. Like I said at Double or Nothing, if you have a problem with Britt Baker winning the Owen tournament, then you have a problem with Bret winning this one. There's really no difference. Super chats rolling in. I got to hit those. Steven Scott, what's up, dude? Appreciate that $10. What's up, Greg? Enjoy the content as always. This Thursday, I'll be watching Judgment Day 2000 and then, and the 30-year Martin Show reunion. And rest in peace to co-star Tommy. I wish I watched more Martin than I did. I watched a little bit of Martin. I love Martin Lawrence. I still do. 30-year Martin Show reunion. That is 30 years. Fuck, I guess that's right. Fucking Shanae and all that shit. Oh, my God. Glad you'll be here on Thursday. I know it's kind of a weird time. Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. That's when we're going to be up here to talk Judgment Day 2000. Cheers. I've heard stories about Jim Ross really struggling on commentary with these two, but I love these three together. They crack me up. Pretty interesting that this is the second pay-per-view these guys worked in '93. K-Dogs, Ken, I'll appreciate that 5 from you as well. Is it true they gave Bret the tournament win since Hogan refused to drop the title to him at SummerSlam? How's our friend Bub doing? Well, I just answered the Bub question. Yeah, I don't know if this was because Hogan refused or if they had already planned on giving Bret this anyway and he would have still gone on to face Hogan. So I'm not sure, but I do know it was kind of something to give Bret to keep him busy, keep him relevant, that type of thing, since he dropped the title. That whole situation is fishy, though, with Bret and Yoko and Hogan. I think a SummerSlam 93 match between Bret and Hogan, babyface match for the title, would have done crazy business. Hogan's such a fucking asshole. Straight right hands. A lot of people back in the day did say that the Harts had 13 kids. I always thought it was 12. I know one brother passed away when he was very young, but I always thought he was included into the 12. 8 boys, 4 girls is what I always thought it was. Unless it was 13, 8, and those were just the living kids. Ooh. I love this era of Jim Ross. Like when he came in at WrestleMania that year, I mean, granted he was in a toga, but I was so happy to see him there. I mean, I like this Jim Ross more than like Attitude Era Jim Ross. Attitude Era Jim Ross was great. He was so over the top, and he was much more focused on, telling the stories in the ring. Here, he was more of like a play-by-play guy, but I just really liked Ross's energy back in these days. Yep, Razor was on the verge of turning babyface here. He had just got beat by the Kid on Raw in that upset. And here he was trying to coax him into getting the rematch. And I think they would do all of that, and then after that he would start his beef with the $1 Million Man and shit. The Nutter Center is still there, apparently, I think in Dayton. It's named something else now. Thank you, Cartier Productions. Yeah, I'm over COVID for the most part, but I'm still got a lingering nasally, little stuffiness to me, just a little bit, and I still can't smell. So I feel fine, but that is still lingering, and it's annoying because it affects my voice, and it pisses me off. But I was only tested positive for COVID for like 4 days. It was in and out of my system, but still got this lingering. Bret's got Razor down, hammerlock, knees to the elbow. I mean, at the time, I was pretty confident Bret was winning this, even back then. They made him the #1 seed since he kind of he dropped the title unfairly, or lost the title, I should say. You could kind of tell they were going to give him this. Ugh. Bret's got all sorts of like little injuries throughout the show that he takes all the way into the final match, which is pretty cool. I know Bret's got a razor fucked his shoulder up here and then stomps his hands, I believe. They're all chanting 1, 2, 3. I like that Bobby Heenan #1 sign in the crowd. You do think about how intense Savage is in general. It probably was pretty tough for him to be at ringside watching wrestling matches because he's already such a spaz as it is. He was probably itching to get in there. Yeah, Ray, that Hogan fan has been in the front row before. I know he's been at some WCW shows when Hogan went over there. But I thought it was always pretty funny to see him dressed as Hogan in the front row and then watch Hogan lose. His reaction later is pretty hilarious. Even me, I mean, at the time, I kind of thought Hogan was just back in WWE. He just came back and won the title. I was surprised he dropped it here. Bret Hart I could see winning, but Hogan would have been, I was like, well, he dropped the title? He just, what the fuck they bring him in to win it for if he's just going to turn around and drop it? I remember having that thought process in my head, knowing nothing about the story behind the scenes with Bret and Hogan. But I'm like, that's weird. Hogan's been gone for a year. They bring him in. He wins the title, loses it the next month, and he's gone again. Like, why did they do that? Oof. Razor missing 3 straight elbows. Taking out Razor. God, his Bret's punches are so good. Inverted. Razor is such a big guy, too. Jeez. The way Bret covered him, Bret looked so little. Better tournament as a whole, 93 or 96? 93. 96, that was when they started not doing it all in the one show. I think they just had the semifinals and finals in 96. So really only 3 King of the Ring matches instead of, what, 7 that we would normally get? Ooh. I really don't know how wrestlers do it, how you train yourself to lay on the mat and eat an elbow without, like, just fucking completely flinching. Just being able to trust your opponent's not going to accidentally land on your face or head. Yeah, Macho Man was always really good to Bret. He always put him over hard. Yeah, Scott Hall, it's been 3 months since he passed away. Bye-bye, Hitman. Nope. He's gonna flip himself over. Small package. Kicked out. I love the crowd. They're super into this. This is a great opener to have. Yeah, that Hogan guy, that same guy has been visible at shows before. I don't think he's the guy, though, that they used in the Billionaire Ted skits. It's not him. Oh, there it is. There's that counter. That's ball game. And he beat him. I forgot who it was now. It was FTR. Or it might have been one of those CM Punk matches. They did that move. They did that spot. And they did one from the Kurt Hennig match. Bunch of King of the Ring 93 spots on a recent episode of Dynamite a few weeks ago. So you notice Bret hanging back there. He was leaving too, and he realized he was too close to Razor. So he kind of stopped and leaned over the apron and made sure Razor got further enough down the aisle. So it didn't look like they were leaving together. It's like, hey, Razor, you want to walk to the back together? Grab my arm. Oh, yeah, I forgot about Taker and Mr. Hughes. I remember this. Giant Gonzalez was involved in this, too. Yeah, there he is right there. This is bad. How often do you see a wrestling segment where 5 of the people in the ring are wearing suits and ties? Oh, Hughes dropped the urn. Denting the urn. They were always just feeding heels to Taker. I don't even think he really got his Mr. Hughes program off the ground. Mr. Hughes and the one he did with Nails. Did a segment with Nails. He did a segment with Berserker. I remember those 3 specific segments on TV. Nothing ever materialized of these angles. They might have worked some house show matches or something, but there was no TV payoff for any of that stuff. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I remember. I watched that when it happened. I was watching Superstars that day. Mr. Hughes. You know, Curtis was, he was another guy that was, he was Mr. Hughes no matter where he went. He was Mr. Hughes in WCW and NWA. He was Mr. Hughes in WWE. Might have been Mr. Hughes in ECW a little bit too. I can't remember if he passed through there. I think he did. Came back to WWE a couple different times. Came back in '97 to briefly manage Triple H for half an hour. And then he'd come back in '99 to be with Jericho. Mr. Perfect. God, I love Mr. Perfect. Yeah, Bret and Kurt both on my top 10 all time. Bret's number 1, of course, but Hennig, man, he's up there. Ha ha! He landed. Even Hennig was laughing. He threw the towel at Mr. Hughes. It landed right on his shoulder. I can do the gum thing perfectly. I never miss. I can spit the gum out every time. Never miss. Oh yeah, the brain scan. I forgot about the brain scan. Lawler had one of those too. The Telestrator or something. Yeah, AWA as well. Yeah, kind of an interesting match here. Two guys named Mr. It is kind of cool that they're both named Mr. and both named Kurt. It's kind of interesting. Ha! Look at Savage talking about that. I just mentioned that yesterday. I mentioned Perfect and Doink having 3. Wow! Big arm drag on Hughes. Perfect and Doink had 3 qualifiers. Oh, I did mention it yesterday. I was talking about Drew and Sheamus. People were like, why do you have a disqualification? I'm like, they're old rivals, man. What's the big deal? Let them stretch it out on TV another week to qualify for Money in the Bank. And I pointed to Perfect and Doink taking 3 attempts, I should say, to get a qualifier done. Finally, Perfect beat him with the Perfect Plex in the 3rd match after a couple of double DQs or something. Or time limit draws, maybe. I think one was a time limit draw, then the other one was a DQ, something like that. Oh, the Magistrator. That's right. Not the Telestrator. The Magistrator. I forgot. Isn't that where you go to, like, get bailed out of jail or something? The Magistrator? What is that? I don't get bailed out of jail that often, so I'm not sure. It's a couple times a year at the most, you know. Yeah, Mr. Hughes is still alive. Probably looks the same. Black don't crack. He does so. Poor Hughes, man. He's got to be so hot wrestling in that. He's such a big guy. He was never great in the ring, but he looked really good. He started to slim down a couple years after this. He looked really good. But he's so big. I wonder what he could have done if he would have actually ever tried to wrestle like in gear and not suspenders. I don't know how he managed to always keep those glasses on. They're pretty tight on his head. But they rarely came off. Yeah, I love Jim Ross. I was just saying that from this time period, just the way his voice was in this late 80s, mid 80s, early 90s stage was my favorite. Perfect, always sold. Him and Bret had 2 different ways of selling those buckle spots. Are they talking to Bret? They are. What's up, Bret? Ah, those old school noise deadeners behind Bret. I got some of those. Oh, yeah, so Bret says he'd be more comfortable wrestling Perfect, and then he says he likes him too, and then Mean Gene tries to stir shit up later between them. Such an asshole. Ooh, that didn't look good. Spaz Phoenix, what's up, bro? Thank you for that 20 bucks. Glad you're here. Cheers, Greg and Kat in the chat. Come on my pod, guys. Forbidden Door and Slammiversary previews coming, and a long-form commentary of the WWE Women's Division post-Sasha Naomi walkout on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and Rumble. Go check out Spaz. Show him some love. I'm really curious what they're going to do with Sasha and Naomi, if they're going to come back or they're gone, because they don't know what to do with those titles right now. But yeah, check out Spaz for all that good stuff. Slammiversary next week. Forbidden Door week after that. Hughes really jumps into those hip tosses. He's trying to help out. Backdrop, too. Jesus, look at Hughes bumping. Jesus. 2 big bumps by Curtis. Still got those glasses on. On one side. Oh, he's got the urn. Oh, I forgot they still had the urn. Taker's not even on the show. Oh! And he's disqualified. What an idiot. Like it's a tournament, bro. So crazy. Perfect and Bret again. I remember as a fan being like, oh, shit. You knew it, though. You could see him in the brackets. You knew they were going to meet up in the second round. And Perfect was about to go into a feud with Shawn, and they would work for the Intercontinental title at SummerSlam, and I cannot believe they didn't do a title change. I would have definitely put the Intercontinental title back on Mr. Perfect as a babyface. I think the fans would have loved that. I was really disappointed with that match. Especially since Perfect lost it to Bret a couple years before, regaining it at the same show. Would have been awesome. Oh, good. Yoko promo. It's a nice boombox. Playing some nice calming music in the background. Of course, it's a Sony. Mr. Fuji. My Yokozuna. You cheated.
If you look across the ring, you'll see a different Yokozuna, a bigger Yokozuna, a wiser Yokozuna. You're the Yokozuna. Have you seen it? Hogan. American hero. You in America.
Look at Yoko talking. You go down. I'm a Japanese Samoan or something. Here comes Bam Bam. 5 more from Spaz. Appreciate that. Big shout out to Greektown Wrestling in Toronto. I'll be going to my first show of theirs in the same weekend as Forbidden Door and meeting Bret Hart. Oh, you're lucky. I've never met Bret in an autograph signing or meet and greet or anything like that. That's awesome. Greektown Wrestling. There's indie shows all over San Diego, too. I need to pop up at one of these days. Here comes Duggan. Recycled Big John Studd music. Oh, yeah, Duggan was wearing the singlet by this point. He was about to head over to WCW as well shortly after this. I can't remember if Duggan got there before Hogan or after. But I don't recall seeing Duggan on TV beyond this. Although Duggan had a couple of Intercontinental title matches on Raw against Shawn Michaels. Somewhere in the summer of '93. So that has either already happened or it's about to happen. But after that, I'm pretty sure Duggan is on his way out. Divine Ricks, appreciate the 1999. Hey, Greg, I became a wrestling fan back in '99 when I first saw The Rock. Anything else before I had no knowledge of until I came upon your channel, and I just want to thank you for your wrestling knowledge. You are the best. Well, I appreciate that. I learned much the same way about stuff that went on before I was born. It was the internet. It was YouTube. It was other stuff. So I'm happy to be able to fill you in on some of that crap. I was already way into my wrestling watching by '99, and I was at a couple pay-per-views that year, 3 to be exact. That's really awesome. If I'm just seeing The Rock for the first time in '99, I'm probably becoming a fan of his too. He was really starting to get great. Huh. I mean, these two guys were really big stars in the '80s too. I mean, Bam Bam had a previous run in WWE in 87 and 88. And I always thought they had big plans for him, and then he disappeared. I got a leather sweater. Or Heenan said the same shit to Gorilla Monsoon. He's like, it's amateur punk stuff. Gorilla goes, amateur punk stuff? And Heenan goes, you don't get paid for it, do you? Gorilla goes, no. And he goes, it's amateur punk stuff. Bobby's all about the money. Yeah, so it must have been right after. You're probably right, Brian Hipp, on Duggan, because it felt like Hogan. There was a couple people there, though, before Hogan. Mean Gene and Bobby Heenan were both there already. But then once Hogan got there, then it was Duggan. Fred was there, too, but it was like Duggan, Earthquake, Savage, Honky came in for a quick time, and lots of others. Ray Traylor, although I think he might have came in before Hogan as well. Yeah, I think Heenan, Okerlund, Ray Traylor. I'm trying to think who else. There were a few that were there before. Ooh. This would have been a good match to have in the... Well, no, they were both baby faces. But these guys were both in the WrestleMania 4 tournament. Duggan worked with DiBiase, and Bam Bam worked with One Man Gang. Fall of 94. So, yeah, he would have came in just a couple months after Hogan. And I do remember when he beat Steve Austin for the title. Very quickly. I think Duggan and Savage both squashed Austin while they were there. Look at Danny Davis reffing this match. And I know later on that Luna makes her main or her presence known, so I don't remember if she was just about to become his main squeeze, I guess, because they'd be together for a year. Ugh. Yeah, the rosters went on quite the switch, man, if you remember this time. It was Hogan and Boss Man and Avalanche and Savage, and later on it would be Hall and Nash. And then in WWE, you had the Vaders and the Cactus Jacks and the Dustin Rhodes and the Steve Austins and the Barry Windhams. They all came to WWE. It's like this big like roster swap, like the magnetic poles reversed in wrestling. It was crazy. Both companies in 1996 looked like how the other company looked 3 years prior. It was really crazy. Yeah, Vader was everywhere. I think he won the IWGP tags with Vader, or Bam Bam and Vader did. So Bam Bam was, wow. Big, big power slam. Hacksaw did it with ease. Now he's going for his three-point stance. Is he going to miss? There we go. Bam Bam's going to set him up for the headbutt. There he goes. Right up to the top. Man, that's it. It's that gnarly fucking gash in the back of Bam Bam's head. You see that? It looks like a chair shot or something. I wonder what happened there. Rough. Bam Bam's theme here. I never liked his heel theme. It was too simple and didn't have enough beat and enough going on for me. I always thought it was way too quiet. Look at Terry Taylor. Fucking the Red Rooster. Terry Taylor, one of the 25 times he switched between WWE and WCW. Look at Billy Gunn. He's got to be the only guy on the show that's still regular or somewhat active. This was 29 years ago. Crazy.
Scotty Steiner, you guys have been chasing money incorporated for quite a while now. Do you think the Frankensteiner will be the key to victory?
Well, you know, Terry Taylor, nobody's gotten over the Frankensteiner. If I hit any of those 4 guys with Frankensteiner tonight, we'll win the match.
Well, Dogface, yeah, you know, come down to the dog park because we're going to be
Braun Breaker Sr.
You got it here in the locker room, everybody. They're excited. Let's throw it to the ring.
All right, we got this big 8-man tag. I forgot who they're even working with. Head shrinkers, maybe, and... Oh, look at Lex. His robe made out of reflectix. Okay, so Yoko's going to win the belt tonight. And then right after that, this fucker is going to be Mr. Patriot Man. And he's going to go slam him on the aircraft carrier. Know who Lex Luger reminded me of at this time? Have you ever seen the Terrible? It's terrible. They made a Superman 4. And it was bad. It was so bad. I don't remember what year it came out, late 80s or something. And the evil guy that Superman has to fight looks a lot like Lex Luger. He's like, I'm just going to look at myself in the mirror. Steroids are a hell of a drug. I mean, I do the same thing. I mean, there's really no difference really in the physique of myself and Lex Luger. It really is like looking in a mirror. I mean, he could use a little bit more depth. He doesn't have quite the definition and the mass that I do, but he's pretty close. I mean, he's respectable, you know. Oh, good. More brain scan. You're going to try to draw when he's moving, Bobby? Why don't you can that brain scan? A monkey wrench in his, in his forearm. I love that because, see, the official's going to try to make him put a pad on. So when he was a heel, I swear, WWE, even on the babyface side, they're like Fox News. They're so full of shit. When he was a heel, he needed to cover up the illegal advantage. But then when he was a babyface, they were like, why does he need to cover it up? It's, you know, it's no big deal. They acted like nothing was wrong. Oh, he does kind of look like Dolph Lundgren a little bit, too. Did Dolph Lundgren... Who played... There was like in 1980... In the 80s, there was like a live-action He-Man movie. That might have been Dolph Lundgren. He does look a little bit like him. He kind of looked like that 1988 He-Man movie that came out. Oh, the Fink is going to let Luger know. Mr. Luger. Oh, look at Lex freaking out. Like, why is he mad that he can't cheat? And he would have to wear it at SummerSlam when he would face Yoko for the title, but he pulled it down and hit Yoko with it anyway. And the announcers loved it. Randy Savage like, right on, yeah. And then went in the ring and lifted Luger on his shoulders and celebrated with him. But here, damn, that bump on his, is that one of the screws? I've never had any metal plates put in me or anything like that. Can you feel them under there? That's weird. Who's got metal plates? Tell me about them. What do they feel like? I'm not talking about the ones in your head. I mean the ones in your body parts. Or the one that Cousin Eddie had in his head on Christmas Vacation. Well, every time I had to replace the metal plate with a plastic one because every time Catherine would rev up the microwave, I'd piss my pants and forget my name for an hour. Oh, Tatanka's out. This one, I think, goes to a draw. DQ or draw? There you go, Luger. Psh. Oh, come on. It ain't that heavy, Luger. You bench like 400. Nuclear Man. That's what the Superman guy was called. There goes Luger. Oh, I need more Stella. I'm out. I'll be right back. Tatanka and the narcissist Lex Luger. Big backdrop. You want to know some crazy shit while we're watching this Luger and Tatanka match? Let me look here. So, I have King of the Ring, 1994. King of the Ring, 1995. King of the Ring, 1996. King of the Ring, 1997. King of the Ring, 1998. King of the Ring, 1999. I was at that show. King of the Ring, 2002. And I have 2000 and 2001 as well. I just don't see them. But there's one notable exception. The one we're watching, I don't own King of the Ring 1993. I think every time I looked to buy one on eBay, they were more expensive than I wanted to pay. So I need to like just bite the bullet and go buy one. Even if I have to pay $50 for it, I'll probably just do it. Because I'm missing King of the Ring 93, and it makes me sad. OSW for life. I like OSW. Like, I swear, I don't know how many years it's been now, but 4 or 5 years ago, somebody told me that, like, I heard you mentioned on one OSW shows or whatever, and that's how I found you. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even know about that. I have no idea when or where I was mentioned or what show it was or whatever. But somebody told me they found me from hearing me over there. But I know nothing about that. But they're great. They do a great job. Oh, that's right. Tatanka and Bam Bam were in the middle of a program around now, right? When I worked, back when I was in North Carolina, I managed an Italian restaurant. This would have been from like 98 until like 2001, maybe. And one of our line cooks was from Asbury Park, New Jersey. Big guy, huge guy. His name was Artie. And he knew Bam Bam Bigelow. He found out I was a wrestling fan. He goes, have you ever heard of Bam Bam Bigelow? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, that's my buddy Scott. Like, we grew up together and we're friends and everything. I'm like, no fucking shit. I'm like, that's the coolest thing. So he would always have like he probably, like, I would assume probably went to his funeral and all that stuff when Bam Bam passed away. He made it sound like they were pretty tight. Yeah, I think we watched. Did we not watch SummerSlam '94 last summer? Right? I think we did. I think it's on the watch along playlist. We've been knocking out a lot of shows. Ugh, shut up, Bobby. There, I'm pulling up my watch-along playlist. Yeah, SummerSlam 94 we did last year. So far we've done Rumble 02, Rumble 05, Backlash 2000, One Night Stand 2005, King of the Ring 96, Bash at the Beach 96, Pipe Bomb Show, CM Punk's Pipe Bomb Show, Invasion 2001, WrestleMania 6, Unforgiven 2001, Fall Brawl 96, SummerSlam 94, SummerSlam 02, Halloween Havoc 97, Halloween Havoc 95, Survivor Series 96, Starrcade 98, Armageddon 99, Starrcade 93, SummerSlam 98, WrestleMania 19, Survivor Series 02, Rumble 92, WrestleMania 17, Rumble 93, Rumble 97, Rumble 94, WrestleMania 10, 21, 18, 7, Backlash 02, Unforgiven 98, Judgment Day 02, Slamboree 95, and King of the Ring 93. That is the watch-along playlist. Currently available. I mean, of all the matches to have to go the time limit, it's got to be Luger and Tatanka. And yeah, and you're right. 1 year later, they would wrestle the babyface match when Luger would turn on Tatanka. Ugh. Hey, how are you? Hey, how? Bobby Heenan's such an asshole. One of my servers recently said to me, it was slow at work. He goes, if I was a Native American, my name would be Men with No Tables. And I was like, I laughed my ass off. I'm like, it's coming. Just chill. You'll get some tables. Big knife edges. Oh, no, Luger did. I'm sorry. Tatanka would turn, not Luger. No, Luger did not sell out. He was a sellout here. Then he became good guy babyface and would leave WWE that way. Yeah, both of these guys are undefeated at the time, which is another reason why they did the draw bit. And I thought they were also setting up for a Luger and Bret feud because prior to WrestleMania 9, Luger had knocked out Bret with the steel plate. And they used it, like I think Luger was taking a little bit of credit for maybe Bret losing. Earthquake did the same thing, famously to Hulk Hogan, attacked Hogan like the weekend of WrestleMania on Superstars or something and gave him the Earthquake splash. And then he took credit for Hogan losing. It was because of me that you lost to Warrior. Mike Witt, I don't have any ECW VHS. So I got some DVDs, but not many, to be honest. All my ECW stuff came usually in tape trading deals, and I've got them like on burned discs and uploaded to hard drives. I got a lot of ECW TV that way, and all my ECW pay-per-views were usually ordered by me and recorded by me. So I've got ECW DVDs, but none that have like artwork and shit. It's just the straight footage. I've been thinking about doing a video just for fun, but it's not wrestling related. I've got a crazy, insane 1980s and 1990s baseball card collection. Like crazy. Enough to open up a store back in the day. And I still have a lot of my, my protected cards, my rookie cards and shit like that. But, the market collapsed. Everything was overprinted. None of these things are worth anything. I don't have any of my baseball cards graded at all. But I still have a shitload of them. And it might be fun to showcase all my Ken Griffey Jr. and Barry Bonds and Ricky Henderson and Roger Clemens and Frank Thomas and, all these players' rookie cards. And I had every major star of the 80s and 90s. I have all of their cards. Their rookies, their second, third-year cards. I've got everything. I was a hardcore collector back in the day. And I quit right around this time, I think 1993. The last box of baseball cards I bought was a 1993 SP. And I got 2 Derek Jeter rookies in those, which were both worth a shitload. That's the last, like, physical box of cards I can remember buying. It was the same year as this show. So I'm 29 years removed from baseball card collecting, but I still have all my shit. Luger, I don't know if he's measuring Tatanka or what he's doing. I like how both guys have... These matches are so similar. Like, we had the Mr. Hughes and Mr. Perfect. Both guys' names were Curtis. Here you got... Both guys are wearing like a little flap on the front and back of their tights. 11 minutes have passed. Jim Ross has been informed that. Heatwave 98? What main evented that? Fill me in what happened at Heatwave 98. I have that show. I just can't remember. Was that like Taz Bam Bam stuff? Or was that prior to that? Is that the one where Bam Bam and Taz went through the ring? Put the wagons in a circle. No. No, no, no. I love the way Bobby screamed no. Sooner or later here, pretty soon after this too, I think Tatanka would lose the red hair. Oh, was that one of those gnarly Mike Awesome and Masato Tanaka matches? Yikes. Oh, is that the Bubba promo on Heatwave? Man, I wonder how much of that is edited out. Probably none. Oh, big dive. He missed. The nitty-gritty. Poor Vince was just torturing Macho by putting him out here. Oh, Bam Bam was on Young Rock. I wonder who played him. I think Luke Hawx played Austin. Colt Cabana, I think, was Brooklyn Brawler. It's probably been some other names. 90 seconds, that's it. Yeah, King of the Ring. I want to say that would have been 2000, had that evening gown match. I don't know where those are. I just went through all my King of the Rings, and I'm missing 2000 and 2001, but I definitely have them. I don't know where the hell they are. Maybe somebody stole them. They don't. Yeah, I guess back then they didn't inform the crowd. 3 minutes remaining. 30 seconds remaining. 30 seconds, and this match is over. Big backbreaker. Victor, pay-per-view's going well, man. Welcome. Tatanka and Luger battling it out right now. Still 2 hours left. Up, bell is ring. If you want to jump in. The water's nice. Both men don't advance, and Bam Bam gets a bye. Summon a bitch. The Fink lets everybody know. Nobody's ever won the tournament by getting a bye. Look at Luger doing the 5 more minutes thing. That's a babyface move. Maybe they already knew what they were going to do next month. Victor Colon, you mean this one? I don't have the Blu-ray version. Oh, and see, Luger? See, now that right there, with Luger knocking out Tatanka, that tells me that at the time of this show at King of the Ring, they didn't know they were going to have Luger be the American babyface. Like, they obviously knew Yoko was going to win, and Hogan was probably going to go. Luger did the babyface thing here, saying, I want 5 more minutes, and then knocked out Tatanka instead. So whenever the decision was made between this show and July 4th, it had to have been so quick. Oh, wow, look at Joey Morella, about 1 year away from passing away, almost to the day. He died on 4th of July in 94. Fucking Bam Bam. Macho Man, he knows about buys. Same thing happened to him. He had to wrestle all the babyfaces. Always has to wrestle the matches. The heels always get the buys. Just like DiBiase got the buy against Savage at WrestleMania 4. In a match that involved Bam Bam Bigelow. That draw between Bigelow and One Man Gang. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was a different match that gave DiBiase the bye. It was Rude and Jake. Oh, here we go. Bret and Perfect and Okerlund. This is our thumbnail. This was such a cool image to me as a fan. I'm like, are they friends now? They're baby faces. I'd say Perfect's got 15 pounds and 2 inches on Bret. Maybe 1 inch. Mean Gene. He's fucking always stirring the pot. Motherfucker. He intimated that. What does that mean? Ugh. This is like the Piper Bret won at WrestleMania. Well, Gene, you can't get mad. You're the one that started or stirred this up. Yeah, they met. My dad beat his dad. I don't even know if Larry the Axe and Stu ever. It'd be a good fight. I still take Stu. I'm going to be a winner. You weren't at SummerSlam. Oh, that's great.
All right, very good. I thank you, gentlemen. Let me put it this way. May the best man win. Gotcha. Just like I'm going to get you out in the ring. Just like I'm going to get you.
Perfect still talking.
I'm Mr. Perfect. I am what I say I am, and that's perfect. What you're saying is the mutual admiration, the respect, all of that, the friendship are out the window.
I mean, I like how Gene brings up their friendship, but when did they become friends? They were enemies last time they interacted on TV. I like that just because you're a babyface means you automatically have to be friends with whoever you feuded with in the past. Every time I look at Kurt Hennig, he reminds me of my high school buddy, Trey. Athlete, big guy, played football, played baseball, got tons of chicks. He was annoying, but they look so much alike. I always see Trey every time I look at Kurt Hennig. Trey was a big reason why we got completely hooked up with all this free shit at a strip club one time in Florida. Went down for my buddy's bachelor party, golfing weekend, and we were going to go out and party and do things and go to spring training games. It was in the spring, and my friend was a big Mets fan, so we went down to Fort Lauderdale, watched the Mets play spring training, went to like a series of 3 games over the weekend. And, of course, one night, because it's a bachelor weekend, we got to take him to a titty bar, you know, so we go, and we're in there, like, sitting down. It's a smaller strip club, and one of the girls comes over, and it's like, oh, what are you guys here doing, or what are you in town for? Because there was, like, 8 of us, and Trey, the big guy, he speaks up. He's like, we're in town for spring training. Because we went down there to watch spring training games. Next thing you know, there's like trays of shots being sent over to us, and all of our drinks are on the house, and they're offering us trips to the champagne room. And my one friend goes, and he comes back, and he's gone for like 30 minutes. He comes back, he goes, do you guys know why we're getting all this free shit? He goes, they think we play for the Mets. Trey said we're here for spring training, and they think we're all baseball players. And they gave us like all this free shit, and we had to like pretend to be like in town playing baseball. True story. Oh yeah, Bret's got the fingers taped. Yeah, Mets are. My Padres actually pretending like they care too. It's kind of cool. Mets games are nuts. When the Mets come here to play the Padres, must be a lot of people from New York living here or something, because the games are always very sold out or very crowded and very intense. Same thing when the Giants are here. I actually don't like going to like San Francisco Giants and Padres games. That's where you can see fights and stuff, you know. Not trying to be a part of that. He comes back from this like free dance and he goes, do you guys know why we're getting all this shit? And we're like, no, we just thought we're pretty fly dudes, you know? Like, no, they think we're baseball players. They're expecting to get hooked up with a crazy tip. And we're a bunch of broke 25-year-old idiots. We all packed in like I think we had a Ford Explorer with 6 of us. We drove from North Carolina to fucking Fort Lauderdale. It took forever. There were farts. There were so many farts. Ugh. 6 dudes driving. We had one driver. We had 2 people designated to drive. Everybody else, we just drank in the car, drank in the back seat, drinking beers, farting. Ugh. This arguably is a better match to me, or as good of a match as their SummerSlam 91. And Macho Man just said it. This is a classy match. Felt that knife edge. And having this version of Jim Ross call this match, this is a treat. This is a treat, y'all. Appreciate how great this is. Side headlock takeover. They would redo a lot of spots. They had like 2 or 3 spots that they loved to do. They would do it at SummerSlam. They would do it here. They would do it in their WCW match. The one where Perfect rolls backwards and crotches himself on the post. The thing where Bret kicks his legs out from underneath of him. Perfect spins around. That one. And all of these headlock takeovers were much the same sequence every time. I mean, that's pretty much everybody's dream. Get a prime Bret, prime Perfect with prime JR on the call. Pass the lotion. Nice crucifix. I remember the first time I ever saw that crucifix move, Bret Hart was the one that did it. The first crucifix I ever saw was 1985, and it was a match between, I think, the Harts and the Bulldogs before either one were tag team champions. It was very early Harts. I don't even think they had totally matching gear yet. And the Bulldogs had just come in. And it was some just regular TV match or something taped for TV. And Bret put a crucifix on Davey. And as an 8-year-old, I thought that was just a fucking crazy move.
I'm sure you don't know. He didn't have x-rays in the back there in the dressing area. Side headlock applied, both men back up to a vertical base. And look at those stiff forearms right into the lower back area.
All right, I'll be right back while Bret and Perfect are getting warmed up here.
Everything counts right now. Notice the injuries. Everything counts. You gotta be watching. Now, Mr. Perfect just went for a hit right there. But I can't
Back, sorry.
I am no stranger to punch.
Of all the times I have to step away for 5 seconds during my favorite match of the show.
I mean, Bret Hart is not gonna win this match with a headlock. I know Perfect. He's not bright, but he's not a quitter. He's a fighter.
He's not bright. Mr. Perfect's bright. What are you talking about, Bobby Heenan?
He's in the best shape of his life. Realize right now that you got a 30-minute time limit, so I'm not criticizing these guys for going for covers right now. Guaranteed in that first round, 15 minutes, you had to be quick. You had to try to be quick.
Oh, I caught him on the ropes. Mr. Perfect. As we discussed, the stakes in this one so very, very high. You gotta believe that the King of the Ring will be the #1 contender for the WWF title.
Yeah, see, they're already playing up the winner will be the #1 contender. A salty past. I like that they acknowledge Bret was a heel before. Ooh, bump into the ropes.
And Bret, the Hitman Hart. The impact took him all the way outside.
Look at these people. Listen to him right now. They don't appreciate the way Mr. Perfect is taking the advantage. Well, Perfect said in the interview he'll do anything to win, and so will Bret Hart. When you talk about having a salty past, so does Bret the Hitman Hart. Salt, pepper, Tabasco.
Salt, pepper, Tabasco. Okay, so Savage was talking about Perfect's salty past. And Heenan's like, Bret has one too. Oh, you sneaky, sneaky Perfect. K-Dogs, Kennel, appreciate that $5, dude. Hogan Andre gave DiBiase a bye to the finals. Oh yeah, Hogan Andre did, not Snake Rude. Snake Rude gave Gang the bye. There was another bye too. Oh, no, there wasn't. I was thinking Bam Bam and One Man Gang was a bye. But Gang got a bye. Yeah, that of Rude and Snake. Okay, I had a little confused. There was 2 byes. Hogan and Andre got the automatic bye in the first round, but then their double DQ gave DiBiase the bye right into the finals, wrestling 2 matches. That's crazy. Thanks for the update. I nearly forgot that was the sequence, but I remember that tournament pretty well. I wanted the Savage Steamboat match in 2. WWE didn't have that thought process back then, though. But having Savage and Steamboat wrestle 1 year later, babyface match, it could have been just like what we're seeing here. Bret and Perfect. Right after a year or so after their SummerSlam match, after Bret won, and Perfect was a heel. Now they're back together as babyfaces. You know, and this time Savage can go over, handshake with Steamboat, show of appreciation, attaboy, go get him. It would have added so much to Savage's victory to me, to get that endorsement from Ricky. I'm going to go back in time, apply for a booking position. Ooh. Oh, my God, Bret, right into the Sprite. Don't damage those Sprites. Oh, there's Pepsi in there, those old school Pepsi cans. Oh, wow. He did. They did that spot, too. I'm pretty sure they did that same spot at SummerSlam 91. What's going on, Molly Brewer? Troy, 2 Dimes Donovan, released by WWE. over a policy issue. Don't even know who Tony Toon Dimes Donovan is. But best of luck for him. To him, whatever he did wrong. Yeah, this would have been like the same year as like Clear Pepsi and shit. Like all that would have been happening right around now. My family had just bought a new car because my mom and dad each had a car, but they bought a new car so for my dad so I could have his car when I turned 16. They gave me a 1986 Chevy Nova when I turned 16. That was my car. Big missile dropkick by Perfect. Wow. Foot on the ropes. Bret kicks out. Now Perfect's getting frustrated. Oh. What I liked about this match is it felt a little bit more aggressive. Like Perfect was way more aggressive because he wasn't hurt. You got the addition of JR in commentary. This extra mic'd ring mat where all the bumps sounded great. Great venue. The whole atmosphere is why I think this match could be a notch above the SummerSlam match. Oh, superplex coming up. Oh, wow. Go for it. Ugh. One. Bret was never, ever a leg hooker. Never. Monsoon used to give Bret shit for the nonchalant covers. That's just what Bret did. Oh, there's the leg spot. They do that in every match. Perfect sells this so well. Very Dolph Ziggler-like. Going right after that. Oh, he's going figure four. What a match. What a match. Slap me in the face, will you, Ross? Because he was rooting for Mr. Perfect. I don't know, Tatanani. Shout out to Callum, who tags me in everything. Every story. Me and like 4 other guys, or like 8 other guys. I wonder if WWE still has my audition tape. I sent them an audition tape in 1992 when I was 15. I recorded it onto a VHS, and basically I took the SummerSlam 91 match, and I put it on mute, and I called it, and sent the tape to HR. Never heard anything. But I was 15. Who's going to hire a 15-year-old? Yeah, with the figure four, and now the grapevine, setting up for the sharpshooter. Oh, yeah, I had a camcorder, so you had those old school big VHS camcorders. I set it perfectly on like the coffee table and raised it up and tried to make it perfectly fit the TV screen. And that's how I recorded the match, and I spoke into the microphone. Fucking primitive shit back then, man. I cut out a WWE logo off the magazine, and I taped it onto the front of the VHS tape. He's doing the hair thing. They do this spot all the time, too. God. I mean, that does gotta hurt like a motherfucker. It's interesting, too. Perfect wearing basically the same gear he wore against Bret. I think he was wearing blue. Or he might have been wearing all blue, though. I don't watch any of NXT. Is Two Dimes like with the Italian guy? The Antonio Mamaluke or whatever the fuck his name is. Perfect. It's just like SummerSlam 91. He's Mr. Perfect, and he's got literally the world's worst sleeper improperly applied on Bret Hart. At least there's no coach on the outside of the ring this time. It's interesting, though, that Bobby Heenan was at ringside for both of these matches. 91 in this one. Perfect fell down. I like that he sold that it was the knee's fault. It was his weakened knee. That's why he fell. Oof. Wrenching the neck of Bret. The Nutter Center. Like, I don't really believe in heaven or hell. But if there is a heaven, I'd imagine my heaven would involve a whole lot of Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect matches being played on a loop all the time. There'd be a lot of pink starbursts involved, too. A lot of Bret Hart matches, a lot of pink starburst. And a whole bunch of Jessica Alba. Oh, nice. Steven Scott, yes, we will. We're going to do SummerSlam 91 this summer. We'll do it in August. Or July, since SummerSlam is in July. Next month, we'll do SummerSlam 91. Totally. Totally, totally. It's on the list. Consider it done. But just make sure you remind me. Oof. Oh, that European fucking hurt my jaw. Ugh. There's the crotch spot. Oh, nice side Russian leg sweep. Gorilla calls it a neck breaker. Ross calls it a leg sweep. I think Ross is right. Ooh. Ah, jailhouse match. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah, Brian. Don't you just love the way leather feels against your body? We're watching that for sure. That's a pretty good impression, I think. Wow. This is one of my wishes. Like, if I could transport myself and be ringside for, like, one match, it would definitely be Bret and Owen at WrestleMania 10. But this one would be on the list. Ah. Jesus. Perfect's got the fingers. Who does the finger thing? Is it Orange Cassidy? Who does the finger thing? It's Bobby Heenan. It's the whole reason that Mr. Perfect is there, because of him. I like that. Even Ross and Savage are like, you're fucking stupid. Yep. He's trying to block the Perfect Plex. He kicked out of the one at SummerSlam. Oh, they're both going over. Oh God. Oh, they both protected each other well. That's funny how Jim Ross had to remind Savage and Bobby Heenan of that earlier. He's like, if we don't have a winner here, Bam Bam is your king of the ring. Macho was like, oh shit, I didn't even think about that. That's right. Imagine that. The first ever king of the ring. This ends in a double DQ or double count out, and then Bam Bam just comes and gets crowned. What a shitty tournament. Like, what if all 4 opening round matches were draws? Yep. And there he's got him. Did not look like perfect shoulders around the mat, but Bret did reverse that inside cradle. What a match. And I liked how evenly matched that was. Like, neither one guy had a clear-cut advantage on the other. They booked that entire match and laid it out to where... Oh, wow, nope. Perfect was pissed. I mean, all the way up until that finisher, it really was like anybody's match based on how they were booking it. Learn how to count. He's mad. I mean, that's a grueling match for Bret. This was one of the cooler handshakes in WWE, though, because it felt a little bit more realistic. You know, Perfect is pissed, but he's like, I still got to do the right thing. You know, I fucking hate it, but Bret, good match. Good luck in the finals. But I know I can beat you, type of thing. See? A little handshake. That's class. Love that. Perfect loved Bret. Was honored to put him over, you know? And look how hard he worked to get it done. Bret and Bam Bam. And Bam Bam, like, he's like a big guy that he can work a normal Bret Hart match because he's so good. I took my hat off. I took my glasses off. I hope there's decaf in that cup of machos. Why is Bobby Heenan wearing that thing around his neck like it's the 70s? Didn't they used to wear that in the 70s? Pre-recorded. Jimmy Hart and his airbrushing. Back in the 90s when you were a kid, you'd go to the mall and meet your friends and shit. Those airbrush stores were everywhere. Come get a bunch of shit airbrushed on yourself. Andy, I'd love to do 90. I've already committed to 91. 90 is one of my favorite of all time. Loved it. If we do 90 and 91, we got to follow it up, though, with some mid-2000s so we don't alienate all of the watchers here whose parents were teenagers when those shows were on. Oh, I hate seeing that winged eagle on him. The heartland of America. This is a pre-tape. You could have reshot that. The power. Right here is where the power lies. Not here or here so much, but right here. Tommy Boy, 1995. Hogan and Fuji go way back, too. It's kind of cool to see them still beefing in 1993. I forgot the match it was. It must have been against Fuji. Hogan, Mean Gene Okerlund got in the ring once in the 80s with Hogan, like 84. And I want to say it was Fuji. I want to say it was Hogan and Gene against Fuji and Steel, maybe? I forgot who the fuck was in that match. Might have been Mr. Fuji and Animal Steel before he turned babyface. Yeah, I'm right. Mr. Fuji and George Steele. I remember when George Steele turned babyface. It was a great segment. There's two Hogans. Blonde eyebrow Hogan and dark eyebrow Hogan. They seem like two completely different people to me. Like 87 and 93 Hulk Hogan are different wrestlers. Here we go. What we thought would be the last hurrah ever of Hulk Hogan. Can't believe he would come back 9 years later to win the title. In another show that we just watched 2 months ago. Yeah, see, they had all this extra shit going on. Let the winner be the winner. Did they announce him from the Polynesian Islands? They're always talking about Hogan trimming down when he's just really off the sauce. Heenan should have been like, he put down the steroid needle. That made no sense, Heenan. Heenan goes, Hogan, this is what Heenan said. This is how they don't think their shit through. He goes, Hogan trained down. He trained lean for endurance. But I believe as the match goes on, Yokozuna will have the advantage. What, Bobby? You manage people? It making no sense with the shake and bake. Look at Fuji. He's probably just ribbing Earl. Hey, just wanted you to know I put beef lo mein in your sneaker shocker or your sneaker locker. I was like, that's what they had in catering. Fuji's telling Yoko, dude, I gotta take a shit. Still those foam fingers everywhere. And this was it. I mean, this was kind of a historic day for many, many years. Sometimes when I would be really mad at WCW, I would just watch this match. I will say Real American is 1,000 times better of a song than that shitty version he had in WCW. I mean, it looks like, Hogan knows, too. I mean, Hogan must know in his head that this is it. I'm leaving. So crazy. This is his only title defense. He never even appeared on TV. I don't think Hogan was on TV at all. I could be wrong, but I don't think he was, aside from a pre-taped interview. I don't recall seeing him on Raw at all as the champion after WrestleMania 9. I mean, Hogan's still in good shape. God, that belt around Hogan's waist in this year. Good to see that black eyes got better, Hulk. Crazy. And I remember at the time, I remember wondering why. I mean, did they do really all this shit just so WrestleMania wouldn't end with a heel winning? Is that why they did this Hogan stuff? All these things were like going through my head. Also, I never liked yellow wristband Hogan. I always preferred white wrist tape Hogan. All right, Hogan and Yoko. Yeah, Hogan might have been eating that Ico Pro or drinking that shit. I should have worn my Ico Pro shirt. Ico Pro shirt. What was I thinking? I got it back there. Actually, I know why I don't wear it, because I never wear black on streams because it fucks my lighting up. If I were to wear a black shirt right now, I would be so bright. I learned that as a streamer. Don't wear black. I learned it. I don't know if it was Hogan was the icing on the cake of what confirmed and affirmed that WrestleMania 9 was a shit show. The show really wasn't that good. It did not have a match that really stuck out. So I guess maybe in hindsight, maybe it's better that this happened, because let's say Bret retained at WrestleMania 9. The match with Yoko still would have been what it was. It wouldn't have been enough to make WrestleMania all of a sudden a great pay-per-view or a great show. It still would have been viewed as a bad show. So then Bret would have caught a lot of flack for that. As somebody who claims to be one of the best ever, they're like, well, that WrestleMania that you main evented and won was the worst WrestleMania of all time. They'd always throw that shit in his face. So, you know, in a lot of ways, him losing helped Bret's cause, because Hogan got all the flack. All the heat went on to him. So, in a lot of ways, it worked out. The Meltster and SRS Mania are reporting that Roman will face Orton at SummerSlam if Orton can't go by then. If Orton can go by then. I can see that. Roman's going to face Riddle first. Maybe something happens to Riddle. Orton comes back to get revenge. Match is scheduled for SmackDown. Suppose they could do an angle on SmackDown that would rematch him and run it back at Money in the Bank, but Roman, from all accounts, has been pulled from Money in the Bank.
Every time he throws Hogan down, he thinks he's throwing America to the ground. A lot of pressure on Hulk Hogan right now. Boy, is there ever. See, Hogan's a dummy, though. Hogan will go out and
Yeah, Shawn and Tatanka, I guess, was a solid opener, but Tatanka was going into that as the challenger. And as much as I much prefer Shawn over Tatanka as, you know, a wrestler, a title change there might have helped. You can already see this fucker dressed. I wonder if Bruce and Conrad ever did a show on this. Did we ever find out who this cameraman was? Was it Harvey Whippleman or somebody like that? Or was it some random dude? But you could tell, I remember watching this that night, knowing that something's fishy about that guy. I'm like, he looked like he was wearing a disguise. I thought he was going to rip off the mask or something to reveal a Hogan enemy or something. Yoko's so big. And this is the only time these two guys ever wrestled each other. I think there were some rumors that Hogan was trying to get Yoko into WCW so he could beat him. So that's typical fucking Hogan right there. All right, I'm going to go grab another Frosty Stella. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Oh, Fuji told you that, huh, Bobby? Fuji told me an hour ago that Yoko's going to hold the title for 10 years. Yeah, Steiners and Head Shrinkers was a good match. That's true. So there were some okay outings on that show. But overall, even the quality of those matches weren't enough to save it as being a good pay-per-view. And plus, Steiners and Headshrinkers wasn't even for the titles. I mean, you talk about the definition of a match that doesn't need the title. Holy shit. Hogan and Beefer against Money Inc. Needed no belts there. It was Hogan's return to the ring. That's the story. Beefcakes, too, technically, with that shit on his face. I even remember in '93 thinking it was very weird. My brain, my 16-year-old brain, couldn't comprehend Hogan being a tag team champion. Because back then, that wasn't a regular thing. Now, main event dudes win tag titles all the time. But that back in the day, it was teams that won, not individual stars lumped together. And certainly not stars of the caliber of Hogan. So that's the first time I had seen anything like that. The NWA did a little bit with Flair. But Hogan was like mega stardom in my mind, you know? Bobby Heenan's loving this, the demise of the Hulkster. It is too bad that this match couldn't have gotten done. Any Hogan match, I mean, that's one thing that always makes me so mad about him. Is that he kept himself protected on the way out. Like, if he's going to leave WWE for 9 years, his loss and losing the title to somebody needs to be clean. It should have either been here to Yoko or to Bret with the sharpshooter in the middle of the ring. Oh, there was a review of the show? There probably was. They've covered everything. I'm curious if there's any... I might have even listened to it. I just don't remember. But everything has to be so cheesy in wrestling. I would have preferred it if the fireball just came out of one of these regular guys' cameras that's not dressed in some elaborate costume. There's a bunch of guys. A bunch of members of the Japanese media there. Any one of those guys could have just done it, and you wouldn't have, they don't stick out. Because they just look like all the other ones that are out there taking pictures. But you got that one guy in this crazy getup. Yoko fucking missed a splash. I still wasn't used to seeing Jimmy Hart at ringside for Hogan matches either. That was very weird to me. Yeah, Mike Witt, we'll be doing a Forbidden Door review. I'll be buying it. Wouldn't miss that one. Mount Fuji. Bear hug, just like Andre. Bobby Heenan, he didn't trim down. That's just what he looks like now. Yeah, he's in a bad spot. He's got a wedgie, too. There's a letter in his mailbox. Yeah, so Okada lost last night, which is interesting that he lost the title. It makes me wonder if they just want to keep him protected, like if they don't want an AEW guy beating him. So if they are going to give Page the title, maybe they'd prefer him beat Jay White, who cut a hell of a post-match promo. Thank you to Divine Ricks for sent. Was it Divine? Who was that sent me that? Yeah, Divine. Sent me that video. Great shit. That's worse.
Cracked the rib. Might have made a mistake. When Yokozuna slapped that bear, I got the best thing to do is try to get one arm in there so you got some breathing room. He's in a very bad predicament now.
It's like Hogan's entire body, his skin just probably feels like a football. Okay, well, I figured it had to have been something like that. A policy issue. And the photo of him that I saw. I'm like, oh, yeah, that might be the sauce. But I don't want to recklessly speculate on something like that. Tomorrow is the date of the King of the Ring. I didn't look up the date. I forgot to check it. Thank you for that, Justin. June 13th. I remember, June 13th, 1993. 29 years tomorrow. My God. And I vividly remember it. Jesus, he is piston-like right hands.
Right to the face. Again, the mass and the bulk of the 550-pound challenger puts Hulk Hogan down.
550 pounds.
Just get some breathing air right now and just level it out one more time. Against Yokozuna, I hate to see this momentum stay this way.
Ooh, big belly to belly coming up. I love that move that he did. He did it so well. That and the leg drop were so good. Yoko's leg drop is way better than Hogan's. This show was basically an apology to Bret for the whole Hogan Mania 9 thing. It kind of was. It really was. Definitely felt like a consolation prize or something like that. Or to keep Bret relevant. Remind the fans that he's not champ now, but he'll be back in the picture. Just be patient. And then they started going with Luger. I was going out of my mind at the time. So you got to be kidding me. This is horse shit. Oof. Yoko's still on his feet. Hogan's going to try to slam him. Boom. There he goes. Now, when's that cameraman show up? Oh, he's got the leg drop. Oh, Yoko must kick out. Oh, he does. Now, here's when I knew something was up. When he kicked out of the leg drop, I was like, okay, something's going to happen. Now, this guy's on the fucking apron. Now, the hard camera angle of the fireball looks really good. The other angles look like shit. Ooh. I mean, that looks so good, that angle. But there's another angle where it's like 10 feet away from his face. And there it is, leg drop. 1, 2, 3, new champion. I'm not going to lie. When Hogan gets pinned, I get a little bit hard. I'm kidding. Love it. Love that sight of Hogan just losing. And I remember going, this is really interesting, but like, why the hell did Hogan win the title to begin with? He came in to basically hold the title hostage for 3 months. Not defend it, not appear on TV, not do shit. Or 2 months, I guess. His sight has been impaired, just like at WrestleMania 9. Look at him going, ah. Oh, is he going to get a bonsai drop? Good. Oh, I love that he's going to give him a little extra. This is the only thing Hogan's never been able to get revenge for. I mean, I think Yoko had passed away by the time Hogan came back to WWE. Oof. I think he passed away in like 2000. Hulkamania is dead. The Hogan fan's face was he was just gutted. You could see. There's Rene Goulet. Pat Patterson's out there. Dave Hebner. Oh, look at that sad kid. Boy, he's probably like 35 years old now. Probably in jail or in a gang. Goodbye, Hogan. See you in 9 years. That guy kicked Jimmy Hart. Oh, see, now watch this. This is the angle. That looks terrible. Announcers had to sell that. They should not have shown that replay. Kevin Dunn, you should have just shown the hard cam and that's it. It would have looked great. The big leg. Cannot believe it. Hogan beat Yoko at WrestleMania right after Yoko beat Bret. Yeah, we're aware of what happened. We know. This chat knows, trust me. Yeah, I talked about WCW trying to get Yoko in so Hogan could beat him. I'm so glad it didn't work out. I did remember thinking, though, that there was a chance Hogan could show up on the aircraft carrier to get revenge, maybe with an eye patch and body slam Yokozuna. I thought that was an option. But instead, Mr. Patriot Boy, Luger, shows up on the Ciampa. Wow. Terry Taylor and Kurt Hennig.
Bret Hart's a great wrestler. I've had many matches with him in the past. I injured my back and my fingers a little bit. And
Men's varsity locker room. It's Coliseum Video exclusive, I think.
Not talk about it. Coliseum Video or not, I'm out of here, Mr. Perfect. You just keep your eyes open on Mr. Perfect. I'll show you what Perfect's all about.
There's something special about that little seal right there. It's a beautiful thing. But Terry Taylor, they say he was one of the original ideas or the guys to portray the Mr. Perfect gimmick. They went with Kurt Hennig instead. Look at Sean. Yeah, so here's Kevin Nash. Brand new. He came in like 2 days before this. Vinny Vegas. It has been confirmed. Look at Diesel. Look at Kevin Nash. Look what he's wearing. He hadn't gotten into the black yet. He's got stonewashed jeans and jean jacket or something. I don't know.
Whether you believe lightning could strike twice in the same building here at the Nutter Center in the heart of America.
Well, I think we can agree that lightning definitely struck once. I mean, it struck Hulk Hogan, but that kind of stuff doesn't affect.
It struck Hulk Hogan.
I mean, I think we can agree that Hulk Hogan is not the caliber of superstar that Shawn Michaels.
It is weird that Hogan and Shawn were champions at the same time in WWE. Kind of different eras.
Gobbled him up like a big old brontosaurus burger.
He's a dinosaur. Shawn's crazy.
In Albany, New York, when you recapture the Intercontinental title, this so-called bodyguard
What's his name? His name's my insurance policy. That's what
We don't even know his name yet.
Does he talk?
Okay, no.
This is where they name him?
You want to know what his name is?
Yeah,
I'll
what?
give you the info. His name is Diesel, as in diesel fuel. That which
Diesel.
makes a Mack truck go. This is a Mack
I kind of forgot that this is where we named Diesel
Michael.
officially.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Get ready for more action here at
The gum chewing. Don't you want to fucking smack his face so bad? Ah, Sean, I want to reach through the screen and paintbrush your ass. Psh, psh. Wow. It's kind of crazy how, Nash and Hogan would be such big parts of that NWO, and they literally just passed by each other. They were in the same locker room for one night in the company. That's crazy. What's up, big man? I'll see you literally 3 years, nearly to the day. I'll be seeing you again. We'll be changing the business. Crazy. I wonder if they even met backstage back then. I wonder if King of the Ring 93, if Hogan and Kevin Nash said hello to each other or had any interaction at all. Kevin Nash is starting a podcast. That's a question I would ask him. It's funny seeing the Head Shrinkers come out to the $1 Million Man's music. All right, Money Inc. still fucking tag team champions, right? Teaming up with the Head Shrinkers against the Smoker Gunzers and the Steiners. Two fake brothers, two real brothers. A couple of cousins.
We're having a tremendous time here in Dayton. Again, we want to thank everyone, all the families around this great land of ours, for being with us here on this event, wherever you may be. Great sports entertainment, great family fun.
I feel like wrestled in 40 matches so far this evening.
Macho Man.
This is great. This scene Hogan get beat is great.
Adonis and Elmer at WrestleMania 2. I forgot they even had a match. That's right, they did. And I guess that one's pretty bad for the worst WrestleMania match ever.
West Texas State, son of late Iron Mike DiBiase.
Trying to think if there's one that was worse.
In his day,
I think Big Show and Aki Bono gets a vote.
it goes behind DiBiase.
I don't want to take anything away from this match. Hogan tried to slam Yokozuna 3 times.
Yeah, slimmed down, really good looking Rikishi back then.
Right about that. And Yokozuna kicked out after Hogan dropped the big leg on him. Unbelievable.
I always liked the Head Shrinkers. Like to me they were a combo of the Wild Samoans and the Islanders. They had a little bit more of the agility like the Islanders had. But they had the savageness, brawling tactics, and they were still big and rough and tough and looked just like their respective fathers and uncles. But just with a little bit more of that pep in their step. Where Afa and Sika could move around real fast and stuff, but they weren't doing shit like Fatu was doing.
DiBiase in trouble.
The Steiners are playing catch with Money Inc.
DiBiase rolls to the outside. He could be well served to make a tag here. Now, you got to wonder just exactly how cohesive
Yeah, Brett and Vince was bad.
will be. As DiBiase tags in, Big Fatu.
Well, I'll tell you, they're going to work great as a team. Because DiBiase told me
Look at Bart. I always thought Bart looked a lot like Randy Orton.
all the trouble there can be because of Money.
Like especially when he would get rid of the mustache and cut the hair, like when he'd be around in like '99 losing to Butterbean. He looked like Randy Orton to me.
Good drop toe there by Bart Gunn. Good in Bart Gunn.
I remember, boy, me and my friends used to talk about the King Kong Bundy and SD Jones match all the time because of how fast it was. And that was one of like the first like facts we would always like educate people about. Like, Bundy and SD Jones were the fastest match like ever, right? Or whatever we would say. It's probably right up there with Brutus Beefcake and Hogan are brothers.
Well, if you were on a giving measure against shooting the bull or something, and you've got a PhD in it,
Yeah, when I was a kid,
IRS,
Hogan and Beefcake were brothers, and Bon Jovi and Michael Jackson had AIDS. That was the talk of the neighborhood. I don't know why 9-year-olds decide to believe these things, but we did.
Leg drop to the lower abdomen, Macho Man. This one is almost a mini battle royal.
Oh, yeah, this is a little break in between. Well, we still got the IC match coming up, and then we've got the King of the Ring final. So, yeah, this definitely is your random just stick it on the card to fill time match.
Came off those ropes, front face lock by the $1 Million Man. And perfectly executed suplex by DiBiase. One half
Oh, man, people were... Yeah, David Sammartino worked WrestleMania 1. He worked Beefcake. Worked Brutus Beefcake. He was so terrible. I forgot. He had a pretty sad demise. First of all, he sucked. And he did something in a match. He went rogue or went off script in a match or something. He walked out or quickly submitted. I forgot what he did. But it wasn't the finish, and it wasn't what he was supposed to do. And he was immediately fired and gone. And I can't remember if he submitted or if he I don't know what it was. He might have just submitted immediately in the match as soon as he got put in a hold or something. But he was gone.
Remember when Hoffman and Seeker were the WWF Tag Champions? They were as bad as they come. Oh, what a backbreaker.
Yeah, SD Jones and Bundy, that was the very first ever WrestleMania, so they would be bested. I don't think anything can beat Rowan and Rock, though. It's about as fast as you can get. Yeah, LOD and the Steiners in WWE would have been great, but the timelines they just barely missed each other. They'd get it done a couple times in WCW. But WWE missed so many opportunities, man. The Hogan Flair stuff. And they missed Demolition and Road Warriors. They had them both there. I love that Hart Foundation beat Demolition at SummerSlam in 1990. It's my favorite tag team match of all time. But that dream match was just right there. LOD, maybe Vince didn't want to kill his own creation because Demolition had established themselves apart from LOD. And even though they were originally created to be WWE's knockoff version, they made their own way and were a great tag team. So maybe Vince just didn't want to do that to him, which I can understand. But and plus, both teams would have been baby faces when LOD got there, so they turned Demolition. But then by the time they really got working with LOD, Demolition had lost so much. Axe was gone. So Billy Gunn is the only guy, right? Billy Gunn's got to be the only guy that is been wrestling in 2022. Yeah, he's definitely the only guy. I can't think of anybody else. One, two, three. I suppose it's possible Tatanka takes some indie dates or something, right? Maybe even Rikishi. At least everybody in this match. That's an 8-man tag where I believe everybody is alive. Samu, I do know, was gravely ill. I don't know if he has passed. I think he's still alive. But that's kind of cool. Looking back at a match that's 30 years old with 8 competitors in it and a referee, and they're all alive. Try to find that scenario more than once during this time. You're going to struggle. God, Macho Man, chill, bro. Yokozuna's the new champion. Shit. Macho is like all over the place. He's got glitter all over himself.
He feels bad. He lost.
Ladies and gentlemen, the new WWF champion is standing by.
Jim Ross.
Mean Gene Okerlund. Let's go there now.
He's next to a madman on one side and a troll on the other. Playing the music with the Sony boombox, I assume. There's a rare Jack Tunney appearance.
Mr. Fuji and the president of the World Wrestling Federation. Jack Tunney, you saw this entire thing go down as Yokozuna defeated Hulk Hogan.
I would just like to congratulate our new champion, Yokozuna, and I know Mr. Fuji is very pleased about this.
I know Mr. Fuji is very pleased about this.
Things certainly going down
Look how happy Fuji is.
different than they did at WrestleMania 9.
Oh, like I told you, Gene Oakland, didn't I tell you that my Yokozuna beat the
My Yokozuna.
at 50 pounds? And when Hulk Hogan faces him, he will go down, 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 and we will retain.
There's a Coliseum video release they did where they like visit Yokozuna at a restaurant or something. He's eating buckets of rice and just bringing one course after another.
Well, because I guess you predicted something they didn't think was going to happen. A piece of Americana perhaps dying tonight.
America and Hulk Hogan is finished. Now Yokozuna is new WWF champion.
I am very curious.
Yokozuna, WWF champion.
This of this magnitude calls for celebration. Do you plan on celebrating the victory?
Prince Akihito.
Now, in my mind, Bret was going to be the next guy in line. He should be. He unjustly lost the title. He just won the King of the Ring, and they go with Luger?
Prince Akihito. You and your newly
Ah,
celebrate. Oh, Japan celebrate. They don't know.
I think 93 was my the first official year as a fan that I was like really displeased with what they were doing. Up until that point, I just went along for the ride, didn't have any complaints. But it was around this time where I'm like,
No, no. You know what? We will celebrate.
you guys are making stupid decisions.
Big celebration. Later we will notify all American people.
I would have loved if they gave Randy Savage a run with the Intercontinental title, like in 1993, beating Shawn at WrestleMania 9. That would have been great. All right, what do we got here? IC,
Is for the World Wrestling Federation.
Babyface Crush.
Continental Championship.
I mean, after that run as Demolition, they bring him back as this fucking guy. I did like Crush, but he was a weird babyface to me. Oh, good. There's no permanent vision damage. That way he can still see everybody that he's burying. That's good. Good for Hulk. I remember thinking Crush had a shot to win the IC title. But Shawn was one of those guys, he just kept surviving all these challenges. He lost and won the belt back from Marty, survived Duggan, survived Crush, survived Perfect at SummerSlam. He'd take the title all the way into the fucking following year, right? Ladder match with Razor. Yeah, Crush, like the cranium crunching thing. Like, if you're doing that in a shoot, I wouldn't want to be put in that. I'm like, I need my brain, I need my head. You can't, if you squish it and my brains come out my eyes, it's going to be tough to recover from that. Shawn dancing right next to Crush is the funniest shit in the world. We've got some BSK and Click going on. Is Crush in a BSK? He's a BSK, right? He probably is. I think that he is. Shawn. He hasn't gotten into his full strip routine. He's just kind of doing it a little bit. He's half-assing it. He's like, yeah, I'll bend over and unzip this. I do like how they acknowledge that Shawn can't dance. And I think it's around this time. It might be in this match. I know in the SummerSlam match, Shawn gets chubby. He gets really big. I remember when he faced Perfect at SummerSlam, I was like, his ass is huge. It's kind of already getting big here. Yeah, this was 93, so this one would have been when he got the steroid test or whatever, and then Lawler replaced him. Or no, he'd come back and replace Lawler. Then Lawler got in trouble. And then he had his belt. I mean, despite the added weight, he was still every bit as agile and athletic. He just physically looked different. I thought Chronic was a great team in WCW. I was like, look at these guys get reborn, and they're both in the best shape of their lives, and I always liked both of them individually, and they made a good-looking Road Warrior-ish-like team for the 2000s. And, man, that match they had against Taker and Kane was so fucking horrible. Yes, I do. We got a rocker and a demolition and an outsider. Look at the fucking... Okay, this is a one-on-one match, and we have a grand total of 4 mullets within the camera view here, with Shawn, Crush, Kyoto, and Nash. Hilarious. Fucking 93. Why were we doing that? I mean, Crush looks like Billy Ray Cyrus on steroids. Drop kick. 2 of them. Shawn sold it too. The total package. Yeah, we watched that too, I think, last year, Ray. We watched Unforgiven when Kurt Angle won the title. So that's the pay-per-view that match was on. I think this was really getting close to the final year of the mullets, though. By the time we got to the end of 93, we crossed into 94. Grunge rock was kind of on the scene now. And I think the mullet started going away, and they started growing it out more. Because around 94, Shawn's would become less and less mulletish. Wow. We got to give credit. You know what we got to give credit to in this era? Marty Jannetty. Never did the mullet, did he? Always kept his Marty Jannetty hair. I wonder what that fucking goofball is up to on Facebook. What an idiot. I don't see anything he posts anymore because I'm not on Facebook anymore. But he accepted my friend request like years ago. And so I'd see all of his dumb shit all the time. And it was maddening. It was infuriating. I'm like, this guy is off his rocker. It needs help. Yeah, it feels like 94 was specifically when I remember the mullets kind of dissipating a bit. They'd hang around still until like 95-ish, but in wrestling, they'd start going away. Oh, look at Nash. Diesel. Damn, nice. Look, when you look at Crush here, look at the shape that he's in. It's amazing to me that's even the same guy that we'd see, 8 years later in 2001 as a member of Chronic. He was so jacked. I'm sure he had some assistance with that, but I mean, Shawn, it is kind of funny to see Shawn getting a little bit on the chubby side at this time. He's very big in the middle. That's what happens. I should know. There we go. I think I was like at 1 second ahead of the timer. Just fixed it. There we go.
It just shows you how tough it is in the WWF. How really, really tough these are.
Crush still kicking out. Yeah, Sting had a mullet. A lot of people in WCW had mullets. All of them did. Austin, though, to his credit, never really did. I don't think he really had the hair for it. He had more of the stringy or thinner hair. And it wouldn't make a good mullet. Pillman had an exquisite mullet. Another great one, Brad Armstrong. Oh, my God. That should go in like the Mullet Hall of Fame because he was so curly. Oh, it was so good. Barry Horowitz, phenomenal mullet. Luna Vachon. Oh. Eddie had a good one. Mark Merrow had a decent one. Oh my God, he threw Shawn. Wow. I mean, we gotta give Mike Chioda's a pretty good. Is that Chioda? He looks so fucking young, but yeah, that's him. Look at his. Oh my God. His is so tight. Oh God. Oh, you can break your jaw doing that. Jesus, that was an ugly bump. Oof. They didn't really do replays back then, but I'd like to see a replay of that. Wow. The Tennessee waterfall. I love that. It was so good. His mullet was one of the best I've ever seen. The place next door, we got a bar next door to my restaurant, and one of the bartenders in there has got kind of like a Mike Chioda mullet, and he just does it to be fun, and it's so crazy good, and he rocks it shamelessly. I feel like they're trying to make a comeback here and there. Starter mullet. He got the starter kit. Just shave the sides first. Let's start with that. We'll go from there. Oh, here comes Doink. Doinks. Doinks plural. I only see one. What a great... At WrestleMania when he did this and Heenan goes, what a great illusion. Oh, no, it's only 2. I thought it was 3, actually. So I wonder who it is. Like, one of them is definitely Matt Bourne because he was playing the part at the time. Oh. He super kicked Crush in the head, in the back of the head, and then Crush just mashed his own head in the turnbuckle. That didn't look great. Oh, now he's running. And he got pinned. And Shawn wins. Ray Apollo. It's probably who it was. But I think he played Doink, though, after Matt Bourne. So I don't know if he would have been out there for this. This might have been Brooklyn Brawler. Oh, Steve Kern. Could have been anybody. Yeah, I forgot about him. He was probably around. Oh, we're going to get an interview with Bam Bam. I like his sexy V-neck. Show a little bit of that chest. Sexy.
First against Razor Ramon, and the last one of the semifinals against Mr. Perfect. Secondly, you got a draw, a bye in the second round, so you got to be fresh as a daisy.
Fresh as a daisy.
I got some business to take care of. I have the opportunity to be the first king of the ring, and I'm doing
Like, why is it always fresh? Are daisies the only thing that's fresh? Like, can you be fresh like an unopened bag of chips? Like a freshly picked apple off a tree? You're fresh like an apple. How come nobody says that? Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, I know all the different people that have played the Doink character, but I have no idea at which point they appeared when there was more than one and who it was under the makeup. No idea. Bam, bam. His music, I hated his music. I was like, all he does is say bam, bam, and it has like 2 beats to it. Or 2 chords, or what's that called in music terms? Does he have a black eye? That eye looks okay. No, I guess he's all right. He's definitely got a big gaff on the back of his head. It's pointed upward. And here comes Bret, and this is for all the King of the Ring marbles. To me, in my mind, there was no doubt about this match at all. Bret was winning this. There was no really doubt about this tournament, but when you go into a match like this where the heel has got a fucking bye, it's the main event. As a 16-year-old, I knew very much well what they were going to do. It's like, Bam Bam's awesome, but he's not winning this, and I do believe they will try to swerve us here. Oh, I hope we have enough time to bring the fans this match. It could keep going before pay-per-view time or past pay-per-view time, and we'll never know. WCW will find out what that's like in 5 years. Oh, my nose is itching. Oh, which one of y'all are talking about me? Mike, is it you? Owen, I don't think was here yet. Or no, he was. Pretty sure he was here. Just getting started. Because he would be there by Survivor Series. Because he left after the Blue Blazer, and then he was back. Yeah, he was back in the 92 with the various tag teams. So, yeah, I think he was here.
I'll tell you, the winner of this match, the winner of the King of the Ring, will undoubtedly be the #1
You know what, John? I actually completely forgot about the ending of this pay-per-view. I never liked Lawler. And when he attacked Bret, I'm like, you son of a bitch. To the point where every time after this show, whenever I'd go back and watch it, I'd stop it before we got to that part. I would never watch the part where Lawler attacked him. I'm such a fangirl. Yeah, Raw's got NBA tomorrow. Dynamite has Stanley Cup. Oh, dumped out Bret. Launched him.
I can't believe the punishment that the Hitman has suffered over the period of 3 matches. It's incredible. And what did Bam Bam do? He went out there and stopped the count? I can't believe that. Don't he ever quit?
Bigelow wants to add certainly insult to injury. He wants to put this man in the ring.
I think it could have been over right.
Yeah, Owen was with Coco and Anvil at various times. So yeah, I don't think when he the only gap he had was when after he was the Blue Blazer. He was gone, like lived in Germany or something, or was maybe going to be a firefighter, and then got brought back in, where I believe he teamed with Coco and then Anvil, or maybe vice versa, and then would move into singles by the time we would get to the end of '93 here. So I don't think he left once he got back. He was there until his death.
You know, and Bigelow is stalking him. He's taking his time.
He's going for the cover. That's what he Hart near the ropes. Smart move by Hart. Bigelow hooks the leg. And referee Joe Morello there got a 2 count out of it.
I'm going to go out on a limb right now. I'm going to tell you something. Even if the Hitman loses to the Beast of the East and Bam Bam Bigelow's the King of the Ring, I've got R-E-S-P-E-C-T for the
I've got R-E-S-P-E-C-T. It's too bad we couldn't get the new foundation and the new rockers around the same time. They could have had some fun. Redo the title match. Top rope intact this time.
Boy, is he going to be sore tomorrow?
Oh, God, Bret is just taking these bumps.
Incredible that he even kicked out of that. Give him credit for that.
Can't believe I would have to wait so long.
Bigelow can move for a big man. He knows what he's doing in there. He's turned into a real...
I was already working at my first job, and I remember the next year when Bret won the title, being so nervous, washing dishes the night before WrestleMania, because I had the next day off and I was going to watch the pay-per-view. And that Saturday night, that's all I could think about. I was like, tomorrow's the day. Bret has got to win the title. Fuck Luger.
Taking a little too much time here. I'd go in for the kill right away.
I've never seen more display of courage than Bret the Hitman Hart in my entire life. I've never seen a more courageous effort. And if he loses this match, you've got to respect this guy with all your heart.
Absolutely.
What do you mean if he loses this match?
Another headbutt. Bigelow is hitting Hart with everything he's got.
And he's hitting him every different place. He's taking him apart. He's working on his back, working on his chest, working on his shoulders. He's got a game plan.
Arrow press, leg hook, and Hart kicks out.
Hitman's still in there.
It's almost as if he's competing now instinctively, Macho Man.
Yeah, I mean, Bam Bam's in full control here.
You never know. We saw what happened with Mr. Perfect and the Hitman.
I kind of don't like that they did the finish. Like, they go all the way with the finish here, right? Like, Bam Bam actually pins Bret. I kind of wish they didn't go that far with it. They wouldn't do that for Cena. He'd Super Cena his way through all those matches. Why can't Bret Super Bret his way through these? Yeah, Owens' WCW run was prior to all of that. Was prior to his return. Yeah, Davey Boy was in WCW about this time, but the following year he'd be coming back. He'd show back up at SummerSlam. But yeah, I think he was in WCW right around this time. Never did win the title there, though. Feuded with Vader, I think. I remember this specific summer, you know, watching WCW. Like, I was just out of school, because this would have been June 13th. So, yeah, I was probably out of school by then for about a week, just a few days out of high school. So I was going to be a senior. And I loved summer times, especially just being out of school and not having to deal with that and being home on Saturday nights and watching WCW. Teamed with Shockmaster. Yeah, Davey Boy was there he was present for Shockmaster's debut. He got to see all that stuff. I have not asked for any likes tonight, so if you guys can hook me up with some likes, I'd appreciate it. Since we're in the main event. Yeah, I remember when Davey went to WCW, I didn't understand what the fuck was going on. I was at a beach vacation condo with my parents the night that Shawn won the belt from him on Saturday Night's Main Event. And I watched it on this little TV. I had the window open. I could hear the ocean. We just took some weird family trip for some reason. Just like a 3-hour drive to the beach and stayed a weekend in some condo. Oh, there's Luna with the chair. Oh, you fucking asshole. And I watched Davey lose the title, and I remember being flabbergasted. I'm like, what? He just won the title from Bret last month at SummerSlam. I had no idea what was going on. Davey was just not on TV anymore. And then one of those nights when I'm just watching WCW, there he shows up. And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. This is it. After that chair shot from Luna, Joey Morella did not see it. Big slam, and now Bigelow's going for his headbutt. This really upset me. I thought it was like the legit finish. I'm like, for real? I'm like, at least they tried to swerve you. It's kind of like what they did with Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30. But Bret is he's pinned. The bell rang. Nope, and Earl is out there right away, immediately. But I love that, like, this is okay now, where in other matches in WWE history, some of these matches for championships, like when Undertaker won the title from Hogan at Survivor Series, he pile-drived him on a chair. How come a referee didn't come out and say, no, that's not what happened? And he's going to reverse the decision. Like, why didn't they just do that? No, he's not reversing it. He's restarting. So this is like...
I stand corrected. The referees have ruled that this match will continue. No, that's not fair. He beat him.
The match continues.
That's not fair. If there would have been
Earl and Joey Morella. Earl would basically take over for Joey Morella in all the big matches because Morella had a lot of big ones. Earl would be the senior man. And so they've restarted the match. See, I think they should have... I just think it would have been better if Luna would have hit him with the chair, Bam Bam threw him in the ring, hit him with the headbutt, but Morella saw it. Well, no, then he'd have to disqualify him, so that wouldn't work either. I was about to say, like, the referee just refuses to count or say, no, I saw what you did. So I guess you had to kind of pin Bret, but I didn't like that. Hip hip hooray, Savage says. Hey, is the Hogan fan still out there? I haven't looked at him lately. Sit back, kick your feet up, and let's enjoy the slaughter. You were 26 during this show? Holy shit.
And you both know that very, very well. He will not quit under any circumstance, no matter how badly he's hurting.
Well, he better call Rent-A-Limb tomorrow. He's going to need about
Rent-A-Limb. I was born right after Elvis died.
Vicious bear hug. A 390-pounder squeezing and squeezing the lower back of the Hitman. And it may be now just, again, a matter of time. Referee Joe Morella checking Bret Hart to see if he wants to give it up.
how much more can the Hitman take?
Yeah, and Joey Morella, too. He was the referee for Hogan and Andre at WrestleMania 3, and they put a lot of that weird early non-finish on his shoulders. He was holding the bag for all that. Jesse Ventura was relentless. I think he was just trolling Gorilla for the most part, but Jesse would give Joey Morella so much shit in front of Gorilla, and I just know that was like an internal rib. This fucking idiot referee, Gorilla. Have you ever seen a guy that looks so stupid? I mean, he'd be all up his ass. But as a kid, I just thought Jesse really hated Joey Morella. I didn't know that he was Gorilla's son.
Take a beating like this and not give up. Is he insane? What is he going on?
He's going on courage. He's going on pride.
Second generation wrestler. Maybe it's in his blood. Oh, his dad was a quitter. I know that.
Bobby, that's ridiculous. That's wrong. Bret Hart just endured so much.
Bret is trying.
He's reaching down one more time.
Everybody, get behind the Hitman right now, Jim Ross.
You better believe it. And
Big suplex.
I do not believe it. Unbelievable.
what a counter move by Bret the Hitman Hart. And he drops Bam Bam Bigelow.
Bam Bam is probably the best big man Bret could ever work with. Because he can take all these bumps. He can take all Bret's shit. Bret has to change very little about what he does. Because he's in there with a guy who's big but can also do all the moves. Bret probably can't suplex. Well, he probably could suplex him. Bam Bam will easily get up. But he can do all this shit to him. And he can wrestle a match that's exciting.
A sixth sense to get out of the way.
Bigelow has hurt himself there. What a grueling, grueling tournament this has been, especially for the Bret Hitman Hart.
I don't care what happens right now. Whoever wins this King of the Ring has been one heck of a night. But give Hitman all the credit in the world.
Ugh.
Just like Mr. Perfect, he shook his hand before he left. He knew about the Hitman. Well, I look over my shoulder here. You don't see it on camera, but Gene Okerlund is standing where the coronation is going to take place. The chair is there, the tape is there. The crowd is
Oh my God, I cannot believe I can almost recognize this person. The hard cam, about 10 rows up or something on the lower level, off to the right.
Another grueling marathon in this tournament.
Oh, they showed this woman on camera at like WrestleMania 7 or something.
from the beginning.
No, you didn't.
I certainly did. This another backbreaker.
Another
Better worker, Bam Bam or Vader? Bam Bam, I think. I like Bam Bam better in the ring. Bam Bam, I think, has... I've never heard anybody complain about Bam Bam's ring style. Bret puts him over like a bastard. But Vader, some people complain about the potatoes he throws out. Bam Bam had way more finesse. Lighter on his feet. Probably much easier to take a worked punch from. Or Vader just Idaho you to death. Oh, Jesus. Bam Bam. There he goes. Bam Bam's over the top rope bumps. Wow, Bret with a dive. Look at how Bret throws those punches, and Bam Bam's head is just shaking. He does those so well. Pride and RESPCT for the Hitman. I can't do Macho Man voice when I'm sick still. Would you have shaken Bret the Hitman Hart's hand? Say yes. God, what is Savage on? Don't answer that. Oh, Bulldog coming up. Sharpshooter. He put it on Yoko. He can put it on Bam Bam. Oh. Nope. Kicks out. Oh, Bret biting him now. Oh. Bret's still kicked out. I quit. Like, you know Bret's winning this. There we go. Victory roll. Can't believe he got, like, Bigelow takes his victory roll perfectly, and he beats him. I can't believe this. Savage runs in to hug him. Love it. Bret's like, okay, thanks, Randy, but can you get out of the ring now, please? Thank you. There we go. I mean, that was a championship performance. I wish that would have all been for a title. I wish Hogan would have bitched out after he stole it from Yoko, and this was the tournament to crown the new champ, and Bret just got the belt back. The only reason I'm going to watch this is because you guys are here. If I was watching this on my own, this pay-per-view would already be shut off by now. I would not watch Jerry the Asshat Lawler. Gene's like, here, put this robe on your sweaty body, because that's got to feel awesome. Look at him. I always thought the King thing was dumb. I always liked, like, Austin and Triple H that, like, thought wearing the crown and the cape was silly. I'm just glad that Bret didn't come out every week and he wasn't like the new king of wrestling, like Macho King or King Harley Race, King Bret Hart. But if Bret was a heel, the King gimmick might have been a good gimmick for him to have, because he can certainly make a case for being the king of wrestling. Wearing the crown. Seeing him wear this shit is ridiculous. I don't know why I find it so funny. No, I have my a fair amount of respect for Lawler because he's a legend, but he's kind of a dirty fucking motherfucker, though. That old school blue and white on Lawler from WWE. It's like 2 doinks, 2 kings. Jesus. Get down on your hands and knees. Yeah, Bret's going to do that.
Where were you when this thing started?
Yeah, where were you, Lawler? Why weren't you qualifying?
The only kind of king you are is the Burger King. Oh, no.
I love that that was their go-to insult to Lawler. He's the Burger King. Bret, you are the son of Stu Hart. You are not going to turn your back on Lawler here, are you? You grew up with all those siblings, constantly fending for yourself. Oh, there. Oh, he didn't really turn his back. He just got sucker punched. Oof. So now Bret has to wrestle these 3 matches and then get attacked and take stiff bumps on a hard surface. His crown is broken. What a dastardly attack is right. Dastardly. Ugh. God damn. Jesus, did he really throw that chair on his back? This pissed me off so much at the time. I'm like, Bret should be going after the title, not feuding with this fucker. And why is the narcissist now decked out from head to toe in red, white, and blue? I was like, it used to be Lex Luger couldn't walk past a picture of himself without whacking off. Now apparently it's a flag. And Bret's got to work with Lawler. Oh, now he's going to kiss his foot. And they would do that kiss my foot match, 2 years later at this very event. Oof. I mean, they'd have their little feud here in 93 that would last until Lawler had to leave and because of that, those accusations. And then they were pretty quiet, I think, in 94, but would pick things up again in 95 on that Mother's Day in your house and kiss my foot match, and that's where Isaac Yankem was born. Good night, everybody. Good night, Jim Ross. Thank you for that. Well, King of the Ring 93 is now in the books. That was really fun. We'll leave next Sunday up in the air. We'll see how it goes with the NBA Finals, Slammiversary, and my schedule, but we'll probably be up here to do another one, maybe another King of the Ring. We'll get a bunch of SummerSlams done in the month of July. It'll be a lot of fun, but thank you very much for being here. King of the Ring 93 was a lot of fun to watch. I haven't sat and watched that one straight through in quite a while. It's been at least a couple years, probably since I did my review 4 years ago. So it's been a while. Glad we got a chance to take a look at that, and appreciate you being here. So you guys have a great rest of your evening. Enjoy your Sunday night, and then I will try to be up here tomorrow for Raw unless Raw looks really weak. If Raw looks weak, I'll probably sit it out, watch the basketball game instead, and really not worry about the silly shit they do tomorrow night in WWE. But thanks again, guys. Have a good evening. Talk to you soon. Peace.